Shalom. All praise, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Peace and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. I want to get into this lesson right now, dealing with this inauguration that's coming up about less than a week from now. All right. On January 20th, which is this upcoming Monday. All right, Donald Trump will be inaugurated as the 47th president of the United States. And there's a lot of parallels between him and Nero, which is why a lot of brothers, including myself, believe that he is Nero reincarnated. And it makes a lot of sense. All right. Now, whether you can see that or not, there's a lot of parallels regardless. Okay. And America is Rome reincarnated, as we know. So it makes sense that the rulers would also be reincarnated. All right. And this right here just is a lot of evidence to bolster that argument. As you can see, a lot of people have noticed that similarity. Okay, there's even he even looks like the nigga. And when you look into the history on Nero, I mean, the nigga lost his mind, basically. All right, especially getting closer to the end of his reign, which ended tragically. As many as the Caesars ended, they had a so-called tragic end. All right, they got Trump playing the fiddle. That was or it's called a lyre, I think, or lyre. I don't know how it's pronounced, but there's that legend that he played and acted out a stage show as Rome burned. All right, which he was responsible for burning Rome. Okay, and this one is pretty clear cut right here. I mean, just look at the similarities. That looks like that's a younger Trump. All right, compared to Nero. I mean, the resemblance is striking. This one right here. All right. But in this lesson, I want to really get into from Nero to zero in 2,000 years. Yeah. Is what else? Yeah, Trump is Nero Caesar. I mean, there's a lot that goes into this. You could definitely do your own research. So, but what I wanted to focus on in this lesson is the characteristics of Nero. So hold on, I'm gonna grab this real quick. This is Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. And we know the Most High, he does recycle leaders. All right. Even when you go into 2nd Ezra 11, all right, the middle head of the eagle, which is talking about ancient Rome, okay, is Julius Caesar. And when the head rested and then awoke again at the end of that kingdom, all right, Vespasian came back. All right, well, Julius Caesar came back as Vespasian. Okay. So that's an example of the Most High having, those certain Edomite leaders. There's always these certain leaders that the Lord, these certain spirits that the Lord be using. Okay. Hey, another scripture. Sirach 39:28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So there's many forms of this. There's creatures, there's men, women, people go on, you know, a homicidal spree. And ultimately the Most High put them there to do that, for that purpose, to appease his wrath. Okay, because there's spirits that are created for vengeance. Just Jeffrey Dahmer was one of them. He was going around taking out a lot of sodomites, which we know the Most High hates that. And there was a lot of jakes who engage in filthy activities. And yeah, the Most High gave them over into the grave, man. And the same goes for Trump. All right, he's put in that position for a particular purpose. Okay, and he's put in this position to bring that wrath. Okay, which is what we believe. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahshai. Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. All right, so his time is almost up. So woe unto you, which is destruction. All right, who's the devil? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right, even Dabu mentioned Edom. A brother sent me a video about Dabu mentioning Edom. Alex Jones had some woman call in. She said, "You bloodthirsty Edomites. It's been going on too long," something like that. So everything's coming to the light. Everything's being exposed through this truth, man. Because nobody was talking about Edomites before the Spirit jumped on the apostles to mention. All right, and the men that came before them, our apostles, elders, and us brothers mentioning as well the Edomites. All right, nobody's talking about who is Esau. Nobody's talking about 2 Ezra 6 and 9. Esau's the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, nobody's been talking about these things until we mention it. Then everybody watches our videos in secret, and then they go out and they act like they got some revelation, but they don't give us no credit. Like, you don't think the Most High peeps what you doing? These people are simple-minded, man. And even then, like, they don't get it right. They might try to parrot what we say, but if you don't really have the understanding, you're gonna fall short. Just like Nate, he tried to break down 2 Ezra 11, but he went way off, man. Okay, because if the Spirit ain't working with you, you might be able to say certain things that we say, but you're not going to have the whole full understanding. All right. And even the things that you did somewhat grasp, hey, the Lord will take those things from you too. And you'll bug out because you ain't sincere. All right, but getting back to the point. This dude Nero really lost his mind, man. So I was reading up on the history of him, and it's a lot of interesting things. So we're gonna grab some of it. So it says here. Oh, this is Washington Post. They're trying to charge me just to read it, but yeah, the headline is good enough. Wait, so who is Nero and why are people comparing him to Trump? The Roman emperor was a trending Twitter topic on Monday, so a history lesson is in order. And that's because Trump actually, I don't know if this is related to this, but I know that Trump actually posted a meme about him, about him being Nero. And he posted Nero with the fiddle or whatever he had, So that's a clue right there, Yeah, so this is when you put Nero Caesar lost his mind in Google, right? And this comes up. Yes, according to historical accounts, Roman Emperor Nero Caesar is widely believed to have lost his mind towards the end of his reign, exhibiting increasingly erratic behavior, cruelty, and paranoia, which ultimately led to his suicide. And it's not Trump. They already attempted. They had a couple attempts on his life already. So that you don't think that that's playing into his sense of being paranoid and losing it? And yeah, he's keeping it together now. You know, these Edomites in these last days, they've been able to clean themselves up, so called, and present themselves as some type of upstanding individuals, which we know deep down they are not. That's just a facade. All right, but it says this is often, which ultimately led to his suicide. That's how Nero ended. All right. I don't remember if it was he had a freedman with him that he told him to kill. Either way, that's suicide. If you know assisted suicide, if you ask somebody to kill you, you know, or whether he did it himself. All right, because he didn't have the cojones to do it himself. It says this is often attributed to a combination of personal trauma, power, and mental instability. Now, he's been able to keep it together, Trump. But let's see what happens when things start going haywire, man. Let's see what happens, man. This old, you know, the real core of who he is about to come out, man. Y'all people about to meet Nero. And that nigga went crazy, man. There's one account. Let me see if I could get it. There's one account of him dressing up as a bride and marrying a man in a public in a public forum. All right, key points about Nero's alleged mental decline. Public perception, man. And he's old, man. This guy, Trump, is, if I'm not mistaken, he's almost 80, if not already 80, man. Key points about Nero's alleged mental decline. Public perception. Many historians like Tacitus and Suetonius describe Nero's behavior as increasingly bizarre, including his obsession with performing in public as a musician, his lavish spending on a golden house built after the Great Fire of Rome, which he was rumored to have started. Yeah, and some scholars say that, which makes a lot of sense, that the reason he even started that fire was so that he could build this palatial house. All right. And his cruelty towards perceived enemies. Okay. And yeah, he has a lot of enemies, man. Trump has a lot of enemies, man. The Democrats, you know, he's going to come down on them. Like, you know, that was the first thing that came to mind when I seen that he made it in the president. I said, oh, he about to turn up on them people that, you know, because they really tried to destroy this man. You know, they did lawfare against him. You know, they made him into a felon. You don't think this is all contributing to this man on the being on the verge of a breakdown? Let alone the wondrous signs that the Lord's which the Lord is doing already and about to do. You know, there's a lot of pressure on this guy, man. You see, if people don't consider that, they look, you know, these people really look at this guy like some type of superhero, man. They don't consider that this guy is on the verge of losing it, man. Especially when you account for what we know, the chariots, things that can't be explained, plagues. This dude very well could be the president that's in there when the Lord brings all this plagues and destruction upon America, Babylon the Great. You don't think this nigga's gonna lose his mind? Some theories suggest that Nero's mental state was affected by the murder of his mother, Agrippina the Younger, which he ordered. So he was doing things, and then the consequences messed his own head up, and the subsequent guilt and paranoia he experienced. Nero's perceived madness contributed significantly to the instability of the Roman Empire. And ultimately led to a rebellion against him, forcing him to take his own life. All right, now, you know, it may not play out this exact way, but there's a lot of parallels that you can see. A delusional journey to suicide. I mean, sheesh. Yeah. Nero, the monster of Rome. Yeah, I was trying to get that article. Let me just look up in his Wikipedia. It has most of the information anyways. Yeah, so he was amongst, when you read 2nd Ezra 11, he was amongst those feathers. All right, he was one of the feathers. Okay, which was from Julius Caesar to Domitian and everything in between. Yeah, Roman sources also implicate Nero in the deaths of both his wife, Claudia Octavia, supposedly so he could marry Pompey Sabina, and his stepbrother Britannicus. All right, and he was also beloved by the people. But yeah, when he killed himself, there was they honored him and this and that. But really, this guy was a madman and a tyrant. The Great Fire of Rome, and what did they do? What did they do? They blamed it on the Israelites, man. But they mentioned Jews and Christians, which is basically the same thing, because the real Christians were Jews, Israelites. All right, mainly of the Southern Kingdom, because the so-called Jew, the Judite, is the so-called black man, all right, in America today. And you had them in Rome, and you had the believers. Okay. Trying to look into when he really lost it. Yeah, he had there's a lot of drama surrounding this man. Yeah, many modern scholars believe that Nero's reign had been going well in the years before Agrippina's death. Yeah, so it took a couple tragic events, and put him over the edge. For example, Nero promoted the exploration of the Nile River sources with a successful expedition. After Agrippina's exile, Burrus and Seneca were responsible for the administration of the empire. However, Nero's conduct became far more egregious after his mother's death. Miriam T. Griffin suggests that Nero's decline began as early as 55 AD with the murder of his stepbrother Britannicus, but also notes that Nero lost all sense of right and wrong and listened to flattery with total credulity. After Agrippina's death, Griffin points out, and credulity deals with what? Faith. So he had faith in flattery, basically, is what that's saying. Griffin points out that Tacitus makes explicit the significance of Agrippina's removal for Nero's conduct. He began to build a new palace, the Domus Transitoria, from about AD 60. It was intended to connect all of the imperial estates that had been acquired in various ways with the Palatine, including, including the gardens of Maecenas, Horti Lamiana, Horti Loliana. In AD 62, Nero's advisor Burrus died. That same year, Nero called for the first treason trial of his reign against Antistius Socianus. He also executed his rivals Cornelius Sulla and Rubellius Plautus. And that what happened was people around him, including the Praetorian Guard. The Praetorian Guard was basically, like the King's Guard. You could kind of liken that now to the CIA, because they would knock off a lot of the Caesars. And what do they do now in America? They knocked off JFK. They may be responsible for trying to take him out. All right, take out Trump. All right, it says Jürgen Malitz considers this to be a turning point in Nero's relationship with the Roman Senate. See, the Senate, he had a lot of enemies that he was he was creating by his reckless behavior. Malice writes that Nero abandoned the restraint he had previously shown because he believed the course supporting the Senate promised to be less and less profitable. After Burr's death, Nero appointed two new Praetorian prefects, Faenus Rufus and Alphonius Tigellinus. Politically isolated, Seneca was forced to retire. According to Tacitus, Nero divorced Octavia on grounds of infertility and banished her. After public protests over Octavia's exile, Nero accused her of adultery with Anicetus, and she was executed. So this dude was just offing people, losing his mind, stuck in his palace, just ruminating on everything. In AD 64, during the Saturnalia, Nero married Pythagoras, a freedman. A freedman, yeah. Emperor took the role of bride. I mean, this is just sick shit, man. Pythagoras was a freedman of the Roman Emperor Nero, whom he married in a public ceremony in which the emperor took the role of bride. This is Psalms 12 and 8. The wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. You see, and this is what happened. This was a vile man that was being exalted. All right. Yeah, look what it says. He stooped to marry himself to one of that filthy herd by name Pythagoras, with all the forms of regular wedlock. The bridal veil was put over the emperor. People saw the witnesses of the ceremony, the wedding dower, the couch, and the nuptial torches. Everything in the word was plainly visible, which, even when a woman weds, darkness hides. Oh my goodness. Yeah, man. They was just putting it all out there. That's disgusting. You see? So this is the man that y'all that almost 80 million Americans voted for, man. You see? And it just goes on, man, about all of the crazy shit this guy did, man. Let alone getting into the fire. Yeah, I'll read something briefly on that. It says some Romans thought the fire an accident, as the merchant shops were timber framed and sold flammable goods, and the outer seating stands of the circus were timber built. Others claimed it was arson committed on Nero's behalf, and that's what it was. The account by Pliny the Elder, Suetonius, and Cassius Dio suggests several possible reasons for Nero's alleged arson, including his creation of a real-life backdrop to a theatrical performance about the burning of Troy. Suetonius wrote that Nero started the fire to clear the site for his planned palatial golden house, which I mentioned that. This would include lush, artificial landscapes and a 30-meter tall statue of himself, the Colossus of Nero, sited more or less where the Colosseum would eventually be built. Okay. Yeah, and he actually created this shit, man. This dude really got puffed up, and he thought himself to be equivalent to, to be on the level of a god, man. All right. I'm going to grab something about Antiochus, because he had the similar mentality, and I'm going to just go ahead and close this out. But yeah, these Edomites, this is their MO. All right. 2 Maccabees 9. And let me just get straight to the point. This is talking about Antiochus. Basically, this chronicles his demise. 2 Maccabees 9 and 5. But the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, smote him with an incurable and invisible plague. Or as soon as he had spoken these words, a pain of the bowels that was remediless came upon him, and sore torments of the inner parts. And that most justly, for he had tormented other men's bowels with many and strange torments. So this was another sick pup. Antiochus Epiphanes. All right. But hey, there's a lot of similarities between him and Nero as well. I'm not saying he is, but he could be. But the point being that this is how Edomites in their power seat, this is how they function. You see? Howbeit he nothing at all ceased from his bragging, but still was filled with pride, breathing out fire in his rage against the Jews, and commanding to haste the journey. But it came to pass that he fell down from his chariot, carried violently. Yeah, a lot of these Greek Edomite devils, these Roman Caesars, they all had a miserable end. And they were in the seat of their power. That goes to show how much the Most High hates them. Because even in their power seat, they were still catching hell. They were still killing each other. Vespasian died, I think, of diarrhea. I mean, there's just a lot of things that went down. All right, so that having a sore fall, all the members of his body were much pained. And thus, he that a little afore thought he might command the waves of the sea. That's pride right there, man. Only the Most High can do that. So proud was he beyond the condition of man. Yeah, so every man has a certain level of pride, right? But yet this guy, he was beyond the condition of man in terms of pride. And weigh the high mountains in a balance. Man, the Lord really hardened this guy and puffed him up. Same way he's going to do with Trump and all these elites, man. Was now cast on the ground and carried in a horse litter, shewing forth unto all the manifest power of the Most High. Yeah, that was the power of the Lord, because that was the Lord judging him for what he was doing to us. All right. And that's why the Lord raised up the Maccabees to fight against the Greeks. All right. So that the worms rose up out of the body of this wicked man. And whilst he lived in sorrow and pain, his flesh fell away, and the filthiness of his smell was noisome to all his army. You see, his own men thought he just smelled like corrosion and death. You know, so we'll see how it goes for Trump. But I know that you could look in his face and see, man, the dude is on the verge. All right, he's holding it together, you know, all the masses of people. But deep down, he knows shit that you idiots, you low-level peons don't know. Okay, he's got the insight, you know, and especially now he's about to get up in there. They're about to brief him on all these different things that's going on. Yeah, he's gonna lose it, man. Watch. All right. That's if they don't take his ass out first. You know, but we'll see what happens. And the man that thought a little afore he could reach the stars of heaven, no man could endure to carry for his intolerable stink. Here, therefore, being plagued, he began to leave off his great pride and to come to the knowledge of himself by the scourge of the Most High, his pain increasing every moment. And when he himself could not abide his own smell, he said these words, "It is meet to be subject unto the Most High, and that a man that is mortal should not proudly think of himself if he were God." So even he had to acknowledge. But that was only by him being on the verge of death and being plagued in the worst way possible. You know? So we'll see. You know, we'll see. Because, you know, he's going the way of a lot of these ancient Edomite devils, man. Which is well documented how they all went out. It's comical, man. You know, it's comedy, it's drama, all the above, man. So, you know, we're in exciting times, man. Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai for allowing us to witness these days, man, keeping us in the spirit. So I'm going to go ahead and close it out. Lord's will is edifying. All praise, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. Shalom to the next one.